Right then, sunshine sniffers and botty burpers, it's time for a beer that sounds like a holiday and tastes like a fruity dog shite in a can. This is Life's a Beach, a 4.8% pineapple and grapefruit pale ale from Love Lane Brewery. And despite the name, it had me wondering if they'd confused a beer recipe with a breakfast juice. Let's start with the can. Looks all right, doesn't it? Retro beach parasol, deck chair, that classic faded postcard vibe. The sort of thing you'd spot in a home bargains fridge and think, ooh, that looks summery. Sadly, to me at least, the art's about as exciting as receiving a tax return on a holiday in Skegness. 1 point for effort. Now, pouring this was like asking a 14-year-old to pour Guinness. I tried, I poured hard, fast, and with hope in my heart. But it had less life in it than an overcrowded morgue. And just like Marie Antoinette, no head at all, not even a whisper of froth. Just a lifeless glass of what looked like pineapple juice. 1 point for appearance. Now onto the taste, and here's where the foot-long piece of steaming excrement hits the fan. At first sip I was transported. Not to a tropical beach, but to a cold brewdog bar circa 2017, full of lads in ironic t-shirts sipping hop oil IPAs and pretending to like them. Despite the label saying Amarillo, Chinook and Citra, hops I usually trust, this tasted suspiciously like concentrated hop extract. And while I scored it as using real hops because it says it does, it tasted like it had been squeezed out of a pair of Brewdog executives' Y-fronts. 1 point for taste, and that's generous. Carbonation was all right. It was cold and wet, and on a 30-degree day, that helped. But the mouthfeel was still weak. No creaminess, no body, just a fizzy pineapple squash impersonating a pale ale. 0 points for mouthfeel. Sorry, not sorry. And yet, I still gave it some bonus love. Why? Because I want to like Love Lane. They've had some proper bangers lately, they've earned a bit of loyalty, and they clearly tried something different here. It's a special release, so you're unlikely to stumble across this, unless you're cursed by the gods of random gift beers. Thankfully, that means my wife won't spot it and buy it as a treat for me. I picked up 2 cans a couple of months ago, drank the first can and ignored the second like it owed me money but had afforded a holiday, but I finally reviewed it. And in the middle of a heatwave when anything cold would do, it just about passed as fine. Score-wise, here's how it landed. Can art and vibe, just half points, 1 out of 2. Beer appearance, half points again with 1 out of 2. Taste, based on the fact that I could taste what the tin said I should taste, 1 out of 2. Mouthfeel and body, sadly it scored 0 out of 2 as it was watery and lifeless like diarrhea at a funeral. Bonus modifiers, I gave a point for hop info and half a point for what I hope were real hops. That gives a final score of 4.5 out of 10 or 2.5 stars. So, unless you really love pineapple squash with a hint of Chinook, I'd skip it. If you actually see it in home bargains nowadays. This was a fruit turd in a can, dressed up like a beach holiday, but tasting like the bastard child of lilt and a brewdog gone rogue. Leave a comment if you've tried this beer, or any other Love Lane beers that you'd like to see reviewed on this channel. Hopper out!